long enough. It took long enough to get this feature.
I also think that it works better than the last time that they did their Ranger revamp, and it was like, oh yeah, if you spend 50 gold worth of berries and shit, then you can bring it back. Like, no, just fine. If it died within the last hour, touch it, you spend a spell slot, and ta-da.
You use the stuff Steve Jobs used that like to try to cure his cancer.
Oh my god. Also, can we talk about how many berries?
Acai berries.
Would be
acai berries.
But
I
like
have 50 gold pieces worth of
50
acai berries to
gold
bring
worth
back
of
my
berries?
dead pet.
Hey guys, look, my arm is like halfway through this paper bag and there's still more junk inside. Let's see here. A stuffed squirrel, a book titled How to Fight Good, a little light up sword, and a Pikachu? How did branded merchandise get in here? I only paid $2 for this bag. Well, pull up a drink, pour yourself a chair, and hold this stuffed squirrel for me. It's creeping me out. Welcome to Talkin' Shop.
Jonah, what you got?
I have a fairly recent Unearthed Arcana class feature variants.
A wizard.
For the wizards, actually, the wizards don't really get shit in this one, and that is just fine.
Wizards, get out. Get out of my grievance corner. You're never allowed in my grievance corner. You and druids.
Right.
You and moon druids, excuse me, because we can grievance corner other druids. Wizards, get the fuck out. You have everything.
All right.
You get the boot. Booted from the corner. Well, so now you mentioned earlier the whole like sort of venturing into maybe realizing that there are some things from PHB that need adjustments or tweaks or whatever. And this is what we are tiptoeing toward here in the class feature variants
Please
Unearthed
and
Arcana.
thank you.
Each class in Dungeons & Dragons gains features at particular levels. Have you ever wanted an alternative to one of those features? Or do you have a feature that gives you options to choose from and you like more options? If your answer is yes to either of those, the following class feature variants are for you. So these are features that are going to replace or enhance the normal features of the character's class as written in the PHB. Base class adjustments, not subclasses or whatever, but these are things where if you so choose, you could say, oh, actually, rather than this skill from the PHB at the same level as, X class, I will take this instead. Or if I had this one particular feature, this will enhance that feature. Well, this is what we're twerking with.
I'm in.
All classes get the option of proficiency versatility. Anytime that you gain an ability score improvement, you can also replace one of your skill proficiencies with a different skill proficiency offered by your class at first level. I get that because sometimes at the beginning you're like, oh, I think this is the kind of character I'm going to play. And I choose this skill because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to try out survival or whatever. Then, it ends up that, I don't ever actually use that. But there is a different skill that I do try to use a lot.
And then there's never animals in the campaign.
Right.
I want nature knowledge. Well, fuck you. We're in a city.
I want animal handling.
Exactly.
You're in a desert wasteland with no life.
Yeah.
You're in
You're
space.
in the moon.
So I think this is something that makes sense. I think that it makes sense that if you have a skill that you want to swap out because it's one that you don't use, and maybe there's one that you do try to use a lot, but you're not necessarily proficient in, that you should be able to switch that over. This totally makes sense to me, and I think
I like the restriction.
Yeah, that it's from a skill proficiency offered by your class at first level.
Yeah, not your background, your class. I love that.
Yeah, from your class. Yes, I have no qualm with this. I think it's a great little quality of life improvement. Cool. All right, that's the only one that affects all classes across the board. So now we'll get into class specifics, and some get more than others. The Ranger has very many. Get ready.
Wonder
I'm going to skip
why.
through some of the, I know, I don't know why. I'm going to skip through some of the kind of spellcasty ones because a lot of them, it's just like, spellcasting tweaks and stuff. But so the Barbarian, instead of Danger Sense at second level, and I could just hear all of my stuffy noseness, so sorry. Second level, you can, instead of Danger Sense, choose Survival Instincts, where you become proficient in 2 skills of your choice: Animal Handling, Medicine, Nature, Perception, or Survival. But your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check that you make that uses either of those skills. I don't know that I would ever not use Danger Sense if I was a Barbarian because it's so good, but I guess if you wanted to have certain skills or have your barbarian be good at certain things. Like I'm real good at animals.
If you're like,
I
wanted to make a tracker.
Yeah,
could.
Then
I like this actually.
then this is a way, especially because you essentially get expertise in it. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
This is what I would play in our druid quest, right?
Yeah.
Where I want to be a barbarian, but it doesn't make much sense that I'm about traps and dungeons and stuff. I've just been in the woods, you know? Of course, I'm going to have animal friendship and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's cool and I like it. At 5th level, you can replace fast movement with instinctive pounce. When a creature ends its turn within 15 feet of you, you can use a reaction to move half your speed to a space closer to the creature, not provoking opportunity attacks.
How do you even weigh these against each other? Because speed is such a huge component when it's not theater of the mind, when it's like counted in like a grid type thing. By the same token, though the pounce is situational, there's a specific trigger. It's not just all the time. That is such a huge movement factor. 15 feet, did you say?
Yeah, within 15 feet of you, you can use your reaction to move up to half your speed to a space closer to it.
Okay,
So,
half
but
your
that's
speed.
if a
I love
creature
that.
moves within 15 feet of you, you can move 15 feet.
To get up on them. Yes, yeah.
Unless you're a dwarf.
Unless you're a dwarf.
Yeah, unless you're a dwarf or a halfling barbarian, like, you're going to get up on them.
You're gonna
You're
get
using
to
your
'em.
reaction to get up in their business.
But also, it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. So if the wizard's like, hey, I'm going to move up behind my bodyguard because I need to be closer for this spell,
No,
you're
you're
like, fuck off!
I really love this actually, because I was wondering if it was too overpowered, but now that I think about it, speed in general is such a powerful thing. So when you're making that trade, I can't tell which is the better deal.
Yeah, but see, here's
Which is
my
great.
question.
I think it's awesome that we can't tell which is the better deal outright.
Yeah,
I think that's
I
awesome.
agree.
But here's my question as a barbarian. This is not to slow us down, but it's going to be really fast. Barbarian, don't you increase your speed at another level?
I think
it's
that's
just
just
the one fast movement.
Yeah, you
It's
just get
the
fast
one-
movement the one
I'm thinking of
time.
monks. I'm thinking of monks because I was like, because you kind of get both. But I mean, if you picked up mobile with this,
Exactly.
Disgusting.
but again,
It's
as a
bonkers.
barbarian, you don't get a lot of feats.
So you're making that
You're-
choice.
you're
But I think it's a
making a
great
choice to-
alternative. And it's
Or
so
if you
awesome.
pick
Cool
up,
beans.
totem spirits that let you
Yeah,
get faster and avoid attacks of opportunity.
elk or whatever.
You're gonna be like
Yeah.
flying through people.
I love this. I literally can't tell which one's better, and it's just fun and weird. That's a good addition.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of both of those. So that's the barbarian. The bard. So the bard and pretty much any of the casters are getting expansions to their spell lists, and a lot of it is stuff from Xanathar's or just stuff that they didn't have from the beginning that then they were like, oh, we should just give them that. So they get the enhanced spell list. Cool. I'm not going to really bother with that. Magical Inspiration, first level bard feature that enhances your bardic inspiration. If a creature has bardic inspiration from you casts a spell, they can roll that die and add the number rolled to one damage or healing roll of the spell. I think that's an awesome,
Yeah.
awesome enhancement to bardic inspiration.
Well,
Interesting. Yeah.
can I tell you the only thing I don't like about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we use the word damage, it will almost mean, in my opinion,
Only.
that bardic inspiration will be like constantly used just for this.
As opposed to attacks.
As
or
opposed to like
modifiers.
you're about to do an ability check, let me inspire you. You're about to like to me it will whittle down the bard as like an ability buff into like
It's-
a damage buffer, which is fine, but like it just is one of those things that like it tweaks my
True.
ear a little bit wrong because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
people will just burn it at first level, right? They'll just be like, use it for damage. Use it for damage.
As an option, I don't know whether I like it or not, which is strange because generally more options is better. But like I guess flavor wise, I don't really understand. Is it that if you're a wizard and the fireball represents the extent of your wizardly knowledge and ability to cast magic, and the damage is directly from your skill and expertise, and then there's some asshole with a lute and he can add another 6 or whatever. How does that make sense?
Yeah, but like
Do you know
also
what I mean?
at higher levels, if you're a lore bard and you get the ability to cast bardic inspiration on yourself, now we're like now people are gonna just be like, but I want to do the more damage. I want to do the more, and as opposed to like to me,
Right.
what a bard fulfills in a lot of ways is like, let me boost the other party members. and
Yeah.
then brag about how I did the thing and convince the whole
Right.
town that I
I think
did.
that there are certainly traps.
Right, like
right.
that's part of the.
There's
fun
certainly
of a bard
traps
to me.
with the
Anyway.
with the damage aspect of that. To some extent, there are diminishing returns on it.
Yeah.
As you level up, like I could see early on how it could be easy to fall into the trap of just using it for damage rolls or whatever. But as you continue on, higher level spells, you're rolling a lot more dice. The one bardic inspiration is not going to be as big of a factor as, say, helping somebody with a clutch, lock picking check or whatever else the case may be, where it's just adding to that 1d20.
Yeah.
So I think that there's pros and cons to that one.
Yeah, ability checks always stay in terms of how important they are. They scale, whereas the extra 6 damage.
Yeah, exactly. Like the bardic inspiration will always continue to get better with stuff like ability checks or attack rolls, but on higher
Grapple.
level
I'm
spells and
I'm
stuff,
just interested
enhancing
in the
those by
fact
just the
that,
one
like,
dice, it will have diminishing returns.
a high level bard that's rolling a d12 bardic inspiration, you're basically like, hey, your firebolt, my music is a battle axe to it. like a d12, right, is what we're saying a two-handed battle axe does. And it's like, no. My violin made that fire burn an extra battle axe.
Powerful riffs.
Like,
Queen
it just
Force.
seems strange
Queen
that it in any way could ever affect damage. I kind of liked that bardic inspiration had no bearing on damage,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I get
Why
that.
is that
I think it
only
makes sense for the
spells?
healing, though.
like why can't
Healing,
Like, yeah,
I
for
like.
sure, because to me that again is like, hey, let's buff someone to help someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's also in the bard's lane.
It's in the bard's
Like, that's
lane,
their-
yeah.
They're a buffy
Anywho.
healing person anyway. So that's bard stuff.
Anywho.
That's bard stuff. That was their sort of enhancement that they got.
Somebody say boat stuff.
Bard stuff. Oh, wait, just kidding. There's one more. There's one more before we get to
Yeah.
clerics. Spell
And it's weird
versatility.
as fuck.
Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one spell you learned from your spellcasting feature with another spell from the Bard spell list. The new spell must be the same level as the spell you replace. So you don't have the same amount of versatility as, a cleric or druid or whoever who totally, fully prepares their spells every day. But each day you can sub out one from the Bard spell list to a different one.
You know what?
I think
I'm fine with
I
it.
think for a bard, I don't have a problem with that.
I just decided there's nothing worse, especially with new players, and I feel like a lot of these are intense. There's a lot of stuff for us like veterans, but there's a lot of stuff that is, like you said, a quality of life improvement, and you realize, oh, holy shit, this spell fucking sucks. I am stuck with it for the rest of my adventuring career with this person unless I talk to my DM about it, or just this is what I would do
I
anyway
picked True
if I
Strike.
realized.
Yeah, I realized
Yeah,
that I picked
right.
True Strike and I hate it and I want to do something different. Great. At the end of the long
It's
rest, you
trash.
can
Yeah.
pick something else.
Yeah, I was wondering, was like, well, this is a whole new game. This isn't what this spellcasting has been. But you know what? I'm fucking fine with it. Fuck True
Yeah.
Strike. There are spells that you don't.
Do
And then
wanna
if you
say
were-
there's one thing I wish that this had, one caveat I wish this had on it.
Please.
I wish
Yeah.
it was only spells before level 5.
Oh.
Because being able to trade out 9th level spells
Yeah.
is
Co-signed.
absurd to me.
This makes sense. If you
it's
picked Wish, you just picked Wish.
today
You
I
don't
learned-
get to swap it out for
I know how
game.
to use Wish. Tomorrow, power word kill. I just
Right.
picked that up in my barding. It's like, what?
Yeah, a quick 8-hour nap, and I was good to go.
I think that's a reasonable caveat. But
Cosign.
overall, I like the spell versatility. I think it makes sense, especially for early on when you're like, is this a spell that I'm going to use? Oh, nope, no, it's not, but I'm stuck with it, so that sucks. Or at least I'm stuck with it until I level up. Because, as a bard or whoever, you can change out, one when you level up. But I like this. I like the idea of it, and I feel like it's a good quality of life improvement. It also has the rule tip, cantrips are spells. So they are subject to this. So even if you were unfortunate enough to pick True Strike and Blade Ward, it would only take you 2 days to get them both the hell out of there. Clerics. Cleric spells, they get more added to their spell list. Channel Divinity, harness divine power. You can expend an action of your Channel Divinity to fuel your spells. As a bonus action, you regain a expended first level spell slot. That's your Channel Divinity. Okay, it's
I don't know if I would ever make that trade, but I guess
yeah.
it's
So
nice
you
that
can
it's
it
there.
enhances your Channel Divinity, so it doesn't replace your other stuff.
Right.
But
I don't know if I would ever trade a use of my Channel Divinity for Bless.
yeah, right. I don't know. It's Like, it's not
I could see
something
it
that
at
makes me
early
angry,
levels.
but it's not something that I care about.
But I could see it
Right.
super at early levels in the sense of like, this is my first time playing D&D, and I came out as my cleric, and I burnt all my first level spells in like the first 3 seconds of the encounter.
Yeah.
At the very end of the encounter, my buddy went down. But I forgot about my
Right.
class feature, Channel Divinity, Cure Wounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
It doesn't
I
feel
don't
like
hate
it
it.
scales worth a shit though, but
Scales terribly, but early on, I can see
Yeah.
it getting some use. 8th level, Blessed Strikes. Replaces Divine Strike or Potent Spellcasting. In battle, you are blessed with Divine Might. When a creature takes damage from one of your spells or weapon attacks, you can also deal 1d8 radiant damage to that creature. Once you deal this damage, you can't use this feature again until the start of your next turn. Basically, if you had your Divine Strike where you get, extra whatever type of damage according to your domain, like, if it's poison for a trickster or lightning for a tempest cleric or whatever on your spells or cantrips or the whatever, basically this is scrapping that, and just any time that a creature takes damage from one of your spells or damage attacks, you can also deal 1d8 radiant damage to it.
Cool.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
I think that they're trying to, just give some more versatility to where it's like, oh, you don't only get a bonus when you hit stuff with your big cleric hammer, or you don't just get it when you cast a cantrip or whatever it is. So it's just they get a little more, and it's specifically radiant across the board rather than, a poison or lightning or whatever. Yeah.
Specific. Yeah.
Druid gets cantrip versatility. So, they already obviously change out their spells each long rest. They can, prepare or whatever. But they just get the enhanced thing to whenever they gain a level in the class. This is not daily for them. It's whenever they gain a level in the class, they can replace a cantrip with a different cantrip for the Druid list. I think that's fine.
I like
I'm
that
in.
it's a level.
Yeah,
If it
I
was
like that for them
daily,
it's a level
I would be
up.
like
Yeah.
super not okay with it. I would be like,
No, for sure.
No, because then you're the avatar from level 1.
Right.
Yeah, but because it's on a
I
level
just have to
switch,
rest,
I'm
and I
cool
can
with it.
control a different element.
They get more spells added to their spell list. They get an enhancement to Wild Shape, Wild Companion at 2nd level. You gain the ability to summon a spirit that assumes an animal form. As an action, you can expend a use of your Wild Shape feature to cast the Find Familiar spell without material components. When you cast it in this way, it's Fey instead of a beast, and the familiar disappears after a number of hours equal to half your druid level. Now, I dig this because it gives non-moon druids something to do with their wild shape besides being worse at transforming into animals than the moon druid.
I like that part of it. Do druids get Find Familiar?
No, they do not.
Okay. I like it because I feel like it's already in keeping with the established flavor and purpose of a druid.
Yes.
But it just means that it's not you turning into a mouse. It's your friend Daryl or whatever. Daryl is a mouse now. And I like that it's Fey. I always like those little caveats that it's like, it's a horse, but it's actually a Fey, fiend, or celestial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it provokes questions.
I dig it. I dig it in this. I dig it in the same way you just said, Jonah, in the sense of like it makes anyone that's not a moon druid actually have a use for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you're not a moon druid, you might just end up a lot of the time not even using wild shape because it's not actually going to help you that much.
Unless you're gonna scout,
But
or
if you have
be a familiar, basically.
Right, unless you're going to scout. But
Yeah.
this is a fun way to have like an animal companion, but not be constantly worrying about like, oh man, is Fluffy going to totally beef it because he's only got 4 hit points and then, that sucks. It's like, I just have a familiar and it's cool and I could just bring him around whenever I need him. I think it's a great improvement to wild shape that helps the others who do not have super baller wild shape. So far what we've got is we've gone through Bard, Cleric, Druid. There's still obviously a lot more. But I think that what these are doing, so far we've been pretty successful in the fact that we are enhancing what each class does in fun and interesting ways. At least in a bunch of cases, some more than others. But I think that overall it's pretty successful so far in the fact that we are giving options while still staying in the lane of what the class does. I think it's doing a good job of that, of saying, oh yeah, so if you're a barbarian, and you might not have the danger sense, but you can be good at certain skills that a barbarian could totally be good at, or you get this adjusted feature that's a different kind of movement than your other movement feature, the druid with an extra wild shape enhancement. I think that these are all doing a pretty good job so far and are all things that I would be interested to see how they would work out in a campaign setting.
Yeah, I would personally use a couple of those. You know,
Yeah.
the druid, the barbarian. I would make those choices. Yeah.
Hello, friends. Jonah here to say thank you for listening to this episode of Talkin' Shop. We appreciate you hanging out with us while we chat about these lovely class options that have been presented to us by Wizards of the Coast. We will have one more episode of this grab bag conversation, and then we're going to be moving on to whatever's next. Some sort of actual play content. We haven't exactly decided which thing we want to release next. We will keep you updated, though. If you're a fan of the Quest Company, please do us a favor and go to our page on the Apple Podcasts app or wherever you listen to your podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It is a huge help to us, and we read every review that comes in. And if you really love what we do here at the Quest Company and you want to take the next step in supporting us, please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber. For as little as $2 a month, you can help us with necessary expenses, help us continue to improve the quality of the show, and get access to exclusive content and other cool patron rewards. If you want to give us that support, you could do so at patreon.com/questcompanypodcast. We also have a link to the Patreon on our website, questcompanypodcast.com. If you'd like to contact us, you could do so directly through the Connect page on our website or by finding us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at The Quest Company. You can also come hang out with us in our Discord. If you need links to any of those things, go check out our website. It's all there. I'd like to thank Joe Lightus for editing this episode, along with the artist whose music is featured in it. Thank you to Doug Maxwell for Swing Bada Bing. Thank you to tabletopaudio.com for providing the ambient sounds. Additional sound design by Slappy. That's all for me, so let's get back to the chat and see how far into this bag we can reach before we hit the bottom. Thanks for listening to Talkin' Shop here at the Quest Company.
So, as we continue ranting and rambling, we have concluded talking about the druid, and now we are on to the fighter, which gets a good amount of new stuff, actually, and I am actually very excited about it. So, the fighter gets fighting style options. You get superior technique. You learn one maneuver from your choice from among those available to the battle master. If a maneuver requires your target to make a saving throw, it's the usual stuff. You gain one superiority die, which is a d6. This is used to fuel your maneuvers, the usual thing. So you get the option of, rather than taking like defense or dual wielder or whatever, you can take superior technique, and that is your fighting style. You get to choose one. What's very interesting about that is how this pairs with maneuver versatility. If you know any maneuvers from the Battlemaster archetype, you can replace one maneuver you know with a different maneuver whenever you finish a long rest. This change reflects your physical and mental preparation for the day ahead. I think this is so cool.
It's cool as fuck.
It's a very cool thing. I'm so into it. I love that even if you're not a Battlemaster, you can get access to having a maneuver at a time. I think that's really, really cool. And they've also added some maneuvers, which we will go into now. Some are better than others. We've got ambush. When you make a stealth check or an initiative roll, you can expend one superiority die and add the die to the roll. All right.
Not terrible.
Bait and switch. Not terrible. Bait and switch. When you're within 5 feet of an ally on your turn, you can expend a superiority die and switch places with them, provided you spend at least 5 feet of movement. It does not provoke opportunity attacks. Roll the superiority die. Until the start of your next turn, the ally gains a bonus to AC equal to the number rolled. Oh shit. Okay.
That sounds insanely situational, though. Like, when is moving 5 feet in one direction going to be like a deal breaker for one or more people?
Well, if you are tanky and there is Squishy Boy in front of you and next to Big Bad Guy, you can go next to Squishy Boy and get between him and Big Bad Guy.
Is also, it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. So that means, like, if you have somebody that's on death's door, you can trade places with them and give them an opportunity to get out. You know what I mean?
I think
yes, it's super
very
situational, but, like, I actually love that.
In the right situations, it's very powerful.
Yeah, I guess I'm really glad that the AC bonus is there, because otherwise I can't. Yeah, you know.
No, the AC
there's
bonus is what
already-
makes it awesome.
There's already a better, in my opinion, the problem is there's already a better maneuver that already exists where you can like just command a person within 30 feet of you to move, and it doesn't have opportunity attacks.
Yeah, this would be specifically to shrug off an assault.
Yeah.
So there's that one. There's Brace. When an enemy you can see moves within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to expend a superiority die, make a weapon attack. If the attack hits, add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. So it's like Sentinel, I guess? Right? Am I mistaken in that it's kind of like just Sentinel?
Yeah, it kind of seems like, well, the difference between that and Sentinel, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sentinel is when something enters your field of view or enters your reach. I think Sentinel is when something enters your zone of influence, whereas this is anytime somebody moves, you know, inside of that barrier. Am I reading this wrong?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because, like, as written, I'm like, is this as or more powerful than spending a feat on Sentinel or Polearm Master? I mean, obviously, Polearm Master, you get extra range.
Yeah.
The extra 5 feet, but
But the business end of Sentinel is that when you hit them, they don't move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a half
If you
Sentinel.
have this and Sentinel,
This is almost more like Barbarian's Retaliation, but you don't have to wait for something to attack.
right?
It's
Because
movement.
this is also saying that if it moves within 5 feet of you, so even if it's just maneuvering around you and not exiting your area, you can still get them. So there's that. There's Restraining Strike. Immediately after you hit a creature, you can expend a superiority die and use a bonus action to grapple. You add the superiority die to your athletics check. It's also restrained while grappled in this way. You know what? I'm all about more ways to make grappling worth it. So cool.
Yeah. But I would say that I actually haven't looked this up in quite a while. I might be fucking myself over here. But I thought it was that anytime you would make an attack as part of the attack action, like for fighter 2 or 3 times in a turn, that you could then instead grapple.
You're saying you think that's rules as written?
I think that's as written. I don't think that's with the grappler feat. I think that's any time that you would make an attack as part of the attack
That you
action.
can forego an attack. I'm pretty sure you're right.
I think that's exactly it. So in that case, this, it's never something to shrug off the doing both jobs, which is to grapple and to do
but also
damage.
you get to add to that check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the little tasty part of this one is that you get to do that as your bonus action, so you're not taking away attack actions unless you're a dual wielder. But if you're dual wielding, you're probably not a grappler. And then you also get the bonus to the check that's whatever you roll in superiority die. So I like it. I like more ways to make grappling viable.
Hurt me with this next one.
Fuck off.
Silver Tongue.
Fuck
When
off.
you make a
Fuck off.
charisma,
Fuck off.
deception, or
Fuck
persuasion
off.
check, you can expend
Nope,
one
fuck off.
superiority die and add the superiority die to the ability check. Get it out. Get this one out.
Get the
because
dirt
it has no
out.
business being here.
What
It
is
has
this?
no business being a maneuver of any kind. Why does a fighter have this? Get out. Get out.
The only way that this could make sense to me if it was like Bloody Tongue and it was intimidation or some bullshit. But like,
Yeah.
get the hell out with your deception, persuasion. I also want to be the face. Like,
Let's fucking write this one right now. Sullen Eyes. It's the Conan move. Whenever you make an attack roll, you can use the superiority attack die, add it to the damage, and also make an intimidation roll. On this, like, they'll run the fuck away.
That way
or be
people can
frightened.
stop wasting their actions being like, I want to scare it, and then it fails inevitably because you're a fighter or a barbarian and your intimidation is predicated on your
Trash.
charisma, which isn't high anyway, and so you're like, intimidation, failure, shit, fuck, and then you move on with life, and you're like, I guess I should just hit things because that's what I do.
But
hit them.
deception?
But yeah,
Deception
it
is
doesn't
just...
make any sense, and it is dumb. Moving on.
Yeah.
yeah, give me more
Snipe.
of this. Give me more of this next thing.
Snipe them. Snipe the fuck out of them. As a bonus action, you can expend one superiority die and make a ranged weapon attack. You can draw a thrown weapon as part of making this attack. If you hit, you add the die to the attack's damage roll.
Woo!
Dope. Dope.
Give me more things that are based on like different styles of fighter. Not
Yes.
do I talk good? Give me more like
now I throw shit, and it's cool as hell.
rapier
This one is
duelist
great.
stuff,
I love this
or
one.
like give me some maneuvers that are functional only for like 2-weapon fighting or great weapon fighting, or like make it about what your equipment is as opposed to like I got a tongue that someone should cut out.
Right? Let me get niche as hell with my fighter build because they need all the help they can get to stay relevant. Studious Eye. When you make an insight check or an investigation check, you can expend 1 superiority die and add it to the ability check.
No.
Again, why?
That has nothing to
here's the
do
thing.
with
Well,
battle
like,
maneuvers.
If I don't understand who this maneuver's for, because this is not something that it makes any sense for anyone besides a battle master to take. But really, in this realm of these checks and things, like they've already got their one ability that they get at 7th level where you get to just know things about your enemy. That should really be all you need. There's no need for Studious Eye, and there should be other members of the party who are better at insight or better at investigation, making this completely useless and worthless. That said, on the whole for these maneuvers, overall, positive.
Good
It's
as
just
hell.
a couple crap ones.
True.
But overall, I love them.
But
Good
also,
job, guys.
can we just say Studious Eye is stupid in the sense that it's insight, which is wisdom, and investigation, which is intelligence. Like, it's 2 different categories of ability score.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's-
So you're
it's
only going to
literally
get
just
good
them
for
being
one.
like, you can use, like, you might as well just make one maneuver that's like, you can use a maneuver die on any check.
That's what they're doing, though. I think that's literally like the philosophy here, and it's like I don't understand it.
The only 2 that should apply to is like athletics and acrobatics. Because those would make sense.
It doesn't even really seem like the know your enemy, which is I think the 10th level fighter, or no, battle master, because that is at least about physical or martial things. This is just anything.
This is just in general. It's
I don't
not
know.
even battle
Which
related.
is also, it's a huge trap because, like, it's going to encourage, like, well, I'm just going to use it on all these persuasion checks, and then you're going to get to a fight and not have short rested like a jackass.
I do love the maneuver versatility, though, that you can change them out on long rest. I love that. Like not being tied down to, whatever I picked is that until, I level up or whatever. Like, I like that you can, if you do your homework, like if you were like, hey, we're about to go into a big battle and I want to prepare for that you can train yourself and you can work on different things and emphasize different things. Like, having that flexibility makes playing a fighter really cool to me. The idea of that, I love it.
Yeah, it instantly makes playing a fighter feel more like playing a fighter. Like being a person who is good at this art and that they can adjust themselves for whatever task is at hand. That I mean, at first I was like, "Oh, is that overpowered?" And then I'm like, "No, it's a martial class. It needs it. It's fine."
But I'll
'cause
say
I
this,
don't get to blow
I think
people
it's
up with
underpowered.
Oh yeah?
Like, in the sense that, like, it's going to be hella niche that the one maneuver you pick, unless you're trying to, like, respec your fighter, and it's like, I'm going to go from being predominantly an up-close boy to, like, I'm going to take a ranged maneuver or something that works well with range and be ranged for this fight. Like, that's where I can see it, like, working well, but if it's, like, the difference between I'm going to take riposte and, like, trip attack, like, what, like, that's like, my issue with it, is it, like, to me, I would never pick it over picking a fighting style.
See, that was my
Unless I was
other
playing, like,
question.
a champion, and I was like,
Yeah.
I get 2. You know what I mean?
Or multi-classing.
Or
multi-class.
multi-classing is fine, but, like, again, how many uses is it if you're multi-classing and you pick that up at first level? Because at that point, you're better off taking a feat, the maneuver feat. You can't change them, but you get more than one, right?
Well, no, you would be able to change it because as the whole
It's
fighting
anytime
style
you are
thing
able to
goes,
know.
It's anytime.
Oh, that's
The wording
not
specifically
part
is
of-
if you know any maneuvers from the Battle Master. It doesn't stipulate if you're a fighter or if this, that, or
Gotcha.
the other.
Then I would never take this way.
You would take the feat instead?
I would either take the feat or I would just go 3 levels to get Battle Master so that I could have options. Because having one
I respect
maneuver
that.
to me would be like, they're so situational. You know what I mean? Like,
What? You don't want Studious Eye?
You're right.
You don't want
What
silver
a fool of me.
tongue?
I'm gonna play. I'm an idiot. I should play my my Hexblade Warlock and get one level of Silver Tongue so that I can just one level of that and one level of Rogue so I can make expertise in all of it, and then I'll just destroy people's minds with no spells. Anywho, no more ranting.
Speaking of destroying minds with no spells,
let's talk about monks because I actually really like this. This makes my heart happy.
Get more monk shit. Monk weapons enhances martial arts. You can use this feature to define your monk weapons rather than the original thing. We're scrapping the old one. We're not scrapping the old one, but we are improving the old one. You practice your martial arts with specially chosen weapons, which become monk weapons for you. You can choose a number of weapons to be your monk weapons equal to 5 plus your wisdom modifier.
Hell yes.
Love it.
The chosen weapons must meet the following criteria. Must be a simple or martial weapon. You must be proficient with the weapon. The weapon must lack these properties: heavy, special, or two-handed.
So simple. So simple and so good.
It is something I have been arguing for monks for like a year now. Because the weapons scale the way they do, and because you have a weapon in the monk skill set that does a D8, D10, right? It's like, why would you not just go ahead? Any weapon you pick could scale. Because like, now you can play a rapier monk.
You could play an axe monk if you want.
You can play an axe monk. You can now you can take as opposed to just being like, I want to play a barbarian, to play like a Celtic berserker. You could be like, I'm gonna play a monk.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
To play that. Like, you
hell
can create really cool classes with the monk, even though it's styled to be like martial art boy. And now it doesn't have to be martial art boy, and you can create really cool shit with it.
All about it.
Yes.
The biggest fan of opening up options to players to create characters with.
So they do not feel nailed down to feel like they have to do one specific thing in order to be a viable build. Yes! Key Fueled Strike. This enhances the key feature. If you spend one or more key as part of your action, you can immediately make one unarmed strike as a bonus action. So basically, way to get more punches without doing flurry of blows. Cool. Enhance the key. Love it. Let the monk do cool monk shit.
I will say, though, that
More key
one
features.
boggles my mind a little bit.
Because
couldn't you always take an unarmed bonus action strike based on martial arts?
Is it a nerf?
Or is this...
No,
no.
it's not a nerf.
Is this
Adding
the
your
dual
dex to
fighting
it?
style, right?
Oh.
That seems... Because
now-
you're not making an offhand, you're making one unarmed strike. As opposed to making an offhand.
I feel like that should be better or more clearly written what the discrepancy was, because I could not have picked that out from a lineup. I didn't know that
that's
you didn't
true.
have proficiency.
Well, it's just that like you wouldn't be able to add your dex modifier to a second to an offhand bonus action
Interesting.
strike.
Now I'm confused. Now I'll have to mull this one over.
Yeah,
Because you're making me think deeper about it. I'm like, oh wait, no, that doesn't do exactly what I thought. Yeah, I need to
Nice
go back
critical
and
reading.
look and see.
I mean, well, it
what
just all it is
the
like,
difference is.
hey, you can spend one key to make another attack as a bonus action. It just has
like
to
a
be
full-
unarmed. Like you can't
Yeah.
use your weapon.
Well, no, this isn't like you spend a key to do it. It's anytime you spend key, you also get to do this. So if you do a stunning strike, then for free you get this.
The
That's
full
the thing.
version and not the proficient or the dexless version.
So this is just like okay. So they're fixing it so that monks have.
Yeah, when you dex or when you use a key, you get your full damage on your unarmed strike.
That seems overly complicated, but okay.
Very. It
Yeah,
seems
no,
like it needs like a
should-
whole paragraph.
It should not be that hard.
No.
I don't know why this was something that we needed to fix, but apparently we did. And if it's fixed now, then great.
Cool.
Key features. When you gain the key feature at second level, you also get these things, which, cool, give me more stuff to do with the key.
Hell
Distant Eye. When you make a ranged
Love
weapon
it.
attack, you can spend one key point to prevent attacking at long range from imposing disadvantage on your attack rolls until the end of the current turn.
Love it.
What do your eagle eyes see?
No,
Very
no.
monk-like.
Think about it. Right now, you can create a ranged monk build that's like the Japanese longbow sort of thing, right? Where you can just sit back at like 280 feet and just shoot things in the eye.
Yeah, the big laminated
yeah.
longbows.
Yes, so cool.
Slap.
Yes. Yes.
I
Also,
love changing
shuriken for days.
I hate changing party roles, but I love changing like combat roles, like options for like, but I really want to play a monk, but like we've got 5 tanks. Okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, sweet. I can be like a dude that's literally just sitting back picking people off. I don't know that it's optimal. I'd have to like really delve into it, but like cool.
But also, the thing with this one is that, like, you're not having to choose Distant Eye over Flurry of Blows.
Right.
And you've already got very high dex anyway, so it's equally viable, like, as long as you've just got a longbow or got some kind of ranged weapon.
And you can pick a longbow as one of your 5, so you can have a longbow monk weapon.
Yeah, dope. That's great. And you're welcome for having range now, Monk. Quickened Healing. As an action, you can spend 2 key points and roll a martial arts die. You regain a number of hit points equal to the number rolled.
I don't mind it.
I don't have a problem.
I don't have a problem with it, but it feels like it would very quickly become not useful. Very useful at low levels, though. My other thing is I feel like this is something that will be easily spammed by players. Where it's like, well, I'm going to take a short rest, 2 key points, 2 key points. I'm going to take another short rest. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you might as well just take a long rest at that point, but like I feel like it will happen. Not saying it's bad, just saying, like, as a DM, I feel like it's one to watch out for.
It is one of the many things that is easily spammable. Feel good about that, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Simple.
like all of it, frankly, other than our little confusing boy in the middle.
Yeah. No, I like this monk stuff. I like the monk stuff. I feel like it's good quality of life type improvements. Some of them very simple or might have been obvious or things that we might have thought were a thing already, but to have it clarified, great. Love it. Paladins.
The light shall burn you.
Oh boy. So the paladin gets the fighting style option. Blessed Warrior. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the cleric spell list. They count as paladin spells for you. Charisma's your spellcasting thing. Whenever you gain a level, you can replace one of these cantrips with another cantrip. I feel like, is this only here to be like, hey guys, don't dip into Warlock. Don't dip into Sorcerer. Like, is that the only reason this is here for the ones who are like...
I hope not, because it's way better to dip into Warlock.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
The fighting styles are so powerful, and I feel like they're supposed to be. And I don't hate this, but I would never choose it.
But also, like, just be a cleric.
Right.
Like, clerics are really cool. Clerics get really awesome shit if you don't want to be swinging your sword good.
I'm trying to think of what the real benefit would be to having 2 cantrips of your choice from the cleric spell list would be.
Yeah, the other big
over any of
problem
the
is that
fighting
it's the
styles.
cleric spell list. Where you take guidance and you take, what's their attack cantrip?
Like Sacred Flame or
Sacred
Toll the
Flame.
Dead or...
Right? Because you're like, let me get some range.
Ranged. Yeah, there is an issue. Paladins have nothing in the way of cantrips, and that can seem, especially punishing when you've really spent all of your smite slots and you don't have any of your. But I feel like that's part of the draw.
But also, like, just take the feat, the magic initiative, and pick up cantrips from the Warlock spell list. Then you don't even have to dip.
So much more value.
And you can get Eldritch Blast as opposed to Sacred Flame. And then you can just flavor Eldritch Blast to look like whatever the hell you want. And you can pick up Armor of Agathis, which for a paladin is great. Like,
absolutely. Conquest Paladin. Oof.
What?
Like, I guess I understand why they thought that they should include it, but I'm not crazy about it. Paladin spells. Following spells expand the paladin spell list, yada, yada, yada. We get more spells for them. Harness Divine Power, 3rd level paladin feature that enhances your channel divinity. You can expend a use of your channel divinity to fuel your spells. As a bonus action, you touch your thingy and regain 1 expended 1st level spell slot. We kind of went over this with the cleric already. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I throw something out real quick before we move on to Ranger? Like, please, super fast. This fighting style is really bothering me right now. Because I'm remembering something that I looked at literally like 2 days ago, which was like the really old Unearthed Arcana where it was like feats that had to do with weapons styles.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, I'm really good specifically with hammers, or I'm really good specifically with axes, or I'm really good with like whips or whatever. Why are those not the fighting styles that showed up here? Right? Like, hey, Paladin, here's like, instead of this being a feat, right? Here's like fighting style hammers.
Trident.
That would be so dope.
You can now roll a d12 for hammers as opposed to like
Flail.
You know what I mean? Flail. Like, here's something cool you can do with it, as opposed to just being like, I guess we should. You know what I mean? Like again, that's what I want to see out of like this. Options is like, if you're gonna give options to a martial class, remember that they're a martial class.
Right, and let them do cool shit with different weapons.
Do good at the fight. They want to hit good, so let them hit good.
Hey, flail mastery. It's the fighting style. As one of your attacks, when you take the attack action, you can forego it to instead add a 1d8 damage bonus and a -2 AC debuff to your target. Because you're like swinging it around for an action, boom, bring it down.
Well, that's what one of the coolest ones was hammer that D&D made, because it was like you could choose anytime you're fighting an opponent with a shield. If you hit, you disarm their shield.
That fucking rules.
Because you're like hitting, like, because hammer versus shield, like you're breaking their arm. Right? Like,
was it a contested roll?
No.
Was it like an athletics?
It was like as long as you hit with a hammer, it just disarmed the shield. Like, so on its next turn, it could pick its shield back up, but like if your whole party was up next, it would have a -2 to AC because you got in there first.
Damn, I love that.
Like the Axe Master one had a thing about like being able to like do trip attacks with an axe, which is iconic use of axes to like hook and pull. And so like it was just a very interesting. I was like, why did we like abandon those so hardcore? But like, anywho, sorry.
I wonder if they're still in the running. It's just this is additional content. You know, I don't know if they republish.
I don't remember when those came out. I thought it was a while ago.
I think so too.
I'm looking at it right now. This UA feats thing looks like it was 2016. The flail mastery one was you get +1 bonus to attack rolls with a flail. As a bonus action, you can prepare yourself to extend your flail, sweep over target shields. Until the end of this turn, your attack rolls with a flail get a +2 bonus against any target using a shield. Dope.
You can negate the effect of a shield with it. Yeah.
Or when you hit with an opportunity attack using the flail, target must succeed on a strength save or be knocked prone. Like stuff like this. These specific weapon feats. I would love to see more of this.
But also, that appeals to me as like a fight choreographer. That's personal Andrew, right? Where it's like they looked at what weapons actually did and were like, okay, here's how we could give them bonuses. As opposed to just being like, you do another D6 damage. It's like utility as opposed to, which is what the martial classes need, because it's why they don't scale compared to the magic classes, because the magic classes gain utility. It's why the wizard's the most powerful class in the game, apart from a moon druid. You have the utility to do this. You have such a huge toolkit, whereas a barbarian, you're like, I have a hammer, and all my problems are nails. Like, that's it. Anywho, I'm sorry, that was a tangent that we didn't need to go on, but I just had that thought.
Fair point.
Jonah, tell me about the Ranger.
I will tell you about the Ranger.
After this trip to the money zone. No, we don't have a money zone.
I want a
Griffin, don't send the kill squad, please.
Do we just like, how much can we rip off?
The medicines.
It's not the money zone if we don't have sponsors, you guys. Come on.
Strider. Take it away, Strider.
His name is actually Aragorn.
Right. So now we're going to talk about the Ranger, because we all know that the Ranger was fucked. There's a lot of shit here. Yeah. So let's dig through it.
Your mic cut out, and all I heard was, we all know the Ranger fucks. He's a deft explorer.
He's a deft explorer. This is a first level Ranger feature that replaces Natural Explorer, which I'm not even going to go over because we all know the Natural Explorer as written is shit. All right. You are an unsurpassed explorer and survivor. Choose one of the following benefits, then choose another at 6th and 10th level. So instead of kind of being like, hey, this is your thing from the beginning, we have something where you can choose where you want to improve as you go. First off, Canny, choose one skill. There's a bunch of skills. You gain proficiency in it if you don't already have it, and you essentially get expertise. In addition, thanks to your extensive wandering, you are able to speak, read, and write 2 languages of your choice. So you get expertise in one thing that you choose, and you get 2 languages. Cool. Roving, your walking speed increases by 5, and you gain a climbing speed and swimming speed equal to your walking speed. All right, cool. I am an ATV now. Tireless. As an action, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier. You can use this special action a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses on a long rest. In addition, whenever you finish a short rest, your exhaustion level, if any, is decreased by 1.
I really like that.
It's cool.
It feels rangery. I love the idea. I always love the classes that have one feature that evolves over time. Yeah. That's why I think the Totem Barbarian is so like fun to like customize, especially when you think about what it visually must look like to be a bear, elk, tiger barbarian.
It's tasty.
What? It's just nice.
I like these. I like that you can choose the order that you get them in. I think that that's really cool. That you will get all of them eventually, but you can choose the order in which you want to get them. Like if you're from the beginning, you think that something's going to be your priority, you can kind of feel things out as you go.
That's incredible.
What?
If you took a 1 level dip into a ranger, you could effectively very easily negate the horror issue of a rage barbarian. What?
Oh, the exhaustion.
Oh, the berserker. The berserker with just 1 level into
Granted, I will say that is not my problem with that. It's that it's a bonus.
What's your problem?
My problem with the berserker is that it's a bonus action. Right, so if you're using a great weapon, then you're negating like half of Great Weapon Master anyway. That ability for how much it's costing you should just be you pick up an extra attack on your attack action.
Rather than a bonus action.
Like if you're gonna be exhausted by it, you shouldn't have to give up your bonus action every turn to that, because most of the time you're gonna not be able to use it.
It's gonna prevent you from doing your other cool shit because you were trying to hit one more time.
Anywho,
but then you're still exhausted.
So that's not my exhaustion is not my problem with that. It's the other, but whatever.
Favored foe. This replaces favored enemy. You can call on your bond with nature to mark a creature as your favored enemy for a time. You know Hunter's Mark, and wisdom is your ability for it. Okay, so cool. You can use it a certain number of times without expending a spell slot and without requiring concentration, a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all uses on a long rest. When you gain this feature, Hunter's Mark doesn't count against the number of ranger spells you know. Great.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great. Yes.
Needed it.
Thank you. That it doesn't require concentration. Oh my God. I can do other things now. I can do other things besides just casting Hunter's Mark to be any good at my job. Are you kidding me?
I've never seen it written quite like that, though. You can use it a certain number of times, which I will tell you right now, children.
Yeah, the wording's weird. Like, a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. So, you'll probably get it like twice per long rest, maybe 3 times higher level. I would be shocked if low levels you got it more than twice a day. But still, that's twice a day. You can cast it without expending a spell slot and without requiring concentration. The ranger spells are so limited to begin with, and you were burning one of them on Hunter's Mark anyway, guaranteed, because you don't want to be bad at your job. Thank you.
But again, this is a great thing for a dip, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Like if you're a druid.
Oh, level 1.
If you're a druid and it's not going to level 20 in druid, that wants to be a little bit more like rangery, right? Then you can pick up one of these amazing, like, you could pick up expertise in animal handling, as well as several uses of Hunter's Mark.
And then you're just super good at mauling shit while you're a bear.
Man, I never thought I would actually find a barbarian ranger multiclass an interesting prospect.
Hell
but
yeah.
This really is.
It's a cool one.
I like it.
It's a hard one because what you get at second level as a ranger does not help you it depends on what you want to do more, because as soon as you rage, spells are pointless. But if you just want utility spells, that's totally fine and viable. That we take pass
like
without
aid.
a trace,
but that you could cast the Hunter's Mark before going into the rage.
Is it concentration?
You don't have to worry about concentrating on it. You don't require concentration.
Oh, then that's hella awesome.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's actually really good.
Fighting style options. Druidic Warrior. It's the same thing that the Paladin got, where you get cantrips from the Druid spell list.
Nothing really else to say about it. It's the same philosophy behind it for each class.
Yeah, but nobody wants Druid cantrips.
That's the thing.
There's guidance.
There's guidance is the only
if you want
one.
It for the utility.
And
Yeah.
it's if I was doing that, I would take a fighting style so that I could actually, use my bow, which the bow fighting style is one of the best fighting styles in the games. +2 damage on every time you hit. Like,
Yeah.
that's so powerful.
Or it's +2 to hit every time.
Yeah.
It's not.
Plus 2 to
Oh,
hit.
no. It's dueling that gives you damage.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
but still, I love the archery fighting style. I
Yeah.
love it. That was the very first thing that I ever did with Traynor Ashwood. Ranger spells, we get more spells. I think it's interesting that we added a smite, we added magic weapon, we added a couple of smites actually,
Yeah.
and dominate beast.
I wonder why Dominate Beast wasn't in there.
I don't know. I am not sure why.
Seems
because
very
it's
strange.
not. It wasn't. It doesn't say that it was a Xanathar spell, so I don't know why Rangers didn't have that from the beginning. But
Yeah.
at least in hindsight, they decided to fix
I'm
it.
glad we added more healing stuff. Like, I love that Greater Restoration and Revivify are on this list.
Yeah, and aid is on this
Because
list.
that feels cool, because you don't have to flavor that as, like, watch my magic go. You can flavor that as, like, as much as we joked about Strider, right? I know the herbs in this area that I can grab real fast and make something that can bring someone back.
Oh yeah. Spell versatility. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace one spell from your spellcasting feature with another one that's the same level as the one you replace. Again, we talked about replacing the spells on the long rest. I'm down. I'm down to clown with this for a ranger.
Yep.
I don't think we need to say any more about it because
Nope.
it's pretty much the same as the other thing. Spellcasting focus. You can use a druidic focus as a spellcasting focus for your ranger spells. Oh, because they had to use components before. Is that right? That they couldn't use a focus, that they had to have the components?
Limited. One of the only classes, too.
Which is so weird. So yeah, cool. Let them have a druidic focus. Great. Let me not worry about it. I'd still, for a ranger, that's somebody who feels like they probably want to flavor stuff with their spells anyway, but it takes away the minutia.
It's not like you have to constantly keep replacing a component pouch. Like, you can just be like, I have the stuff.
Yeah, you can just say, I have some shit that I use or whatever, but like you've got your focus and it's fine and we don't have to track it and it's not going to be something that's dumb to have to keep in the back of your mind when you could be focusing on, like, I don't know, role playing. Primal Awareness replaces the former Primeval Awareness feature. You can focus your awareness through the interconnections of nature. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class. If you don't already know them, these spells don't count against the number of ranger spells you know. Great. Let the ranger have more spells.
Yep.
Detect magic, speak with animals, beast sense, all of these. Great. You get them and they don't count against the number of ranger spells you know. Awesome.
Yep.
You can cast
Because
each
it's
of these
ranger
once.
shit.
Hey, it's almost like this is something they should do with the sorcerer.
Right? You know what else they could do with the sorcerer? You can cast
Anything.
each of these spells once without expending a spell slot. Once you cast it in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. They get each of these once per day for free. That's amazing.
I've never seen that in this game, and it's awesome. And it makes sense for a class that is underpowered as a caster.
But it also
Yes,
makes
because it's
sense for,
utility.
like, someone like a sorcerer.
You know it does.
It's just part of them.
It's just part of you. It's just something you can do.
I think that it's a great feature, and I love it. Fade away. You can use a bonus action to magically become invisible along with any equipment you're carrying or wearing until the start of your next turn. Once you use it, you can't do it again until short or long rest.
Poopy.
So it's replacing the one where you have to, like, stay still and not do anything and be invisible.
It's replacing the one.
So I guess
replacing the one that's not invisible. It's
Where you
basically
take like 10 minutes to hide.
yes, but it's for
That
setting
one's so
up
fucking
ambushes.
stupid. Yeah.
Right? Like, and you can add a +10 to like everybody in your group can add a +10 to stealth checks.
Starting at 10th level, you can spend 1 minute creating camouflage for yourself. You must have access to fresh mud, dirt, plants, soot, and other naturally occurring materials with which to create your camouflage. Once you're camouflaged in this way, you can try to hide by pressing yourself up against a solid surface, such as a tree or a wall. You gain a +10 bonus to dexterity as long as you remain there without moving or taking actions. That is a lot less good than I remember. It only affects you.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect your
It's
group?
only you. It's not your friends.
Nope, just you.
Fade away feels like it should be. This is what I was thinking. I got hide in plain sight and vanish mixed up. Because vanish is where you can hide as a bonus action on your turn, and also can't be tracked by non-magical means unless you choose to leave a trail. I think that if you're gonna do anything, if you're gonna replace hide in plain sight, you need to do something that's not fade away. Fade away feels like, if anything, it should be an add-on to vanish, because at this point, if you are still able to be tracked by non-magical means, if you don't want to be, like, just let you also be invisible for a turn or something. It's not great. It's definitely not the best thing in this bunch of ranger.
Just not
options.
exciting.
It's not exciting. It's something that other classes can do. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is super rangery.
Yeah.
It's not. That said, let's move on to Ranger Companion options, which is going to replace the Beastmaster feature, Ranger's Companion. While wandering the wilds, a ranger encounters many sorts of animals, some of which they might befriend through various means that I'm not going to go into. A ranger who has the Beastmaster archetype is even fucking better. They can meet a special beast in the wilds, a creature whose lineage stretches back to the beginnings of the world, a primal beast known as a beast of the air or a beast of the earth. So basically, you get to choose either a beast of the air or beast of the earth, and you determine its appearance. Mm-hmm. And it can take the form of a regular beast of challenge rating 1/4 or lower when it's met apart from a Beastmaster. So basically, it's a way to just be like, don't worry about like just taking a gorilla or whatever. It's like it can look like whatever the hell you want as long as it's a beast of the air or beast of the earth. So they got.
We
AC.
had this. We had this exact conversation like when we were discussing the Beastmaster about a year ago, where it was like, what if there was a basic chassis of beast that you could apply to whatever animal you had in mind, and you weren't crippled by the monster manual. So you could have Tubby the Pug, and he would just count as a land-based biter.
He's a beast of the earth.
Hell yeah.
With his maul attack, Tubby, the mighty Tubster. So they get the AC hit points equal to its con mod plus your wisdom. The hit points are so convoluted. The hit points are crazy convoluted.
But at least they scale.
At least they scale, and I do appreciate that they scale.
You know, really the best thing about this? Like,
what?
Honestly, the tag Primal Rebirth. That's really all that has needed to happen in a lot of ways to make, like, people feel better about animal companions, is that, like, when the dragon that you're fighting destroys your pet, you don't have to be like, I'll just get a new one. You can go bring it back from the dead, because, like, good lord, D&D. I mean, if you want to run a super gritty dark fantasy where it's like whatever, then yeah, it would be like, I'm sorry. Like, whatever, you chose to be a ranger in a super gritty dark fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, if we're here to have fun,
I'm killing your fucking panther.
Yeah. Long enough. It took long enough to get this feature.
I also think that it works better than the last time that they did their ranger revamp, and it was like, oh yeah, if you spend 50 gold worth of berries and shit, then you can bring it back. Like, no, just fine. If it died within the last hour, touch it, you spend a spell slot, and ta-da.
You use the stuff Steve Jobs used that, like, to try to cure his cancer.
Oh my god. Also, can we talk about how many berries?
Acai berries.
Would be
acai berries.
But I have 50 gold pieces worth of acai berries to bring back my
berries?
dead pet.
That's like a truckload of berries.
That's 3 rooms of berries.
Do you boil it down into like a gas, like a car tank of gasoline?
Make it into a magic potion.
A lich used power word kill on Chungy, my favorite rabbit, and I use this bee pollen local.
Hashtag shop local.
Locally sourced. So like, you know.
Okay, no, but literally. This was the old wording. With 8 hours of work and the expenditure of 50 gold pieces worth of rare herbs and fine food, that's when you first get your animal companion.
Fine
when
food.
You just get it, you have to spend 50 gold pieces to get your class feature. And then if it ever is slain, your magical bond you share allows it to return to life. With 8 hours of work and the expenditure of 25 more gold pieces of rare herbs and fine food, you call forth its spirit and use your magic to create a new body. So, like, fuck that, this new thing's better.
But Jonah, you're missing out on all the great opportunity of, like, my pet brown bear died. I guess I'll have to spend this 25 gold suppository turkey to jam up his asshole to bring him back.
Guys,
it's a suppository.
Oh my god. I hate to do this, but we might have to cut this one short. I do. But I do want to throw in. I just Googled a Pokemon quiz and took it, and it's pretty short. So I just linked it in the Discord. I got Charmander. Let's see what you guys get.
Oh, this is gonna be upsetting.
Okay, this is original 151.
Yeah, it's original 151. I don't know any of the new ones, so.
I gotta be honest, I already know which of the 151, regardless of whatever this fucking says. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Which Pokemon are you? It's Saturday night. What are you up to? Hanging out with friends, staying with a good book, pulling pranks on people, working on my fitness. None of these.
I am the vile bastard Pikachu.
What the fuck is this? None of these.
Wait. So according to this quiz, out of the original 151, I am Geralt of Rivia.
It's really powerful, Jonah.
You're Geralt of Rivia. You may seem cold and uncaring, but deep down you're a protective, loyal friend. You may have a soft spot
Which
for
quote
sorceresses
best
and a deep
describes
dislike
you?
of teleportation. People like to invent monsters and monstrosities. Then they seem less monstrous themselves. I mean...
Which quote best describes you, Andrew?
Woo. Due tomorrow equals due tomorrow. Oh
my God.
Mine is, I am the vile bastard Pikachu.
I'm the vile bastard Pikachu. If we work together, nothing can stop us. Did Jeffrey Epstein kill us? This shit just gets better and better. Bottom left, no, I guess. Oh, fuck off. I quit. It gave me Rattata.
Nah, that sucks. I got Charmander. I don't know what's up with you guys.
Oh
John, did you actually get Geralt of Rivia?
Yes.
What the fuck?
I am the vile bastard Pikachu. What's your perfect first date? Using Thunder Shock on my enemies. Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? I am the vile bastard Pikachu. I got Geralt of Rivia. All right, if you used all the Pikachu ones, you get Geralt of Rivia.
I did not use all the Pikachu ones.
I also got Geralt of Rivia now. Problem solved. Life's better.
There it is.
And I used none of the Pikachu ones and got Geralt of Rivia.
Interesting.
So maybe it's
weird.
bullshit.
Maybe it's all Geralt all the time.